Hi, my name is Abigail Johnson, and welcome to a unseasonably warm February evening in Granville, Massachusetts. This is my 2017 Fun for Leaders Scholarship application essay supplement. To me, being a leader is somebody who upholds a dual responsibility with integrity and with kindness, and that dual responsibility being in both stepping and also carrying. A leader is somebody who, through their own conscientious observation as well as moral conviction, steps out from what is deemed okay or tolerable or even normalized, and puts down their sense of comfort, steps out into vulnerability because of a greater sense of what is right and what change needs to happen beyond just for their singular movement of their own, but for the betterment of other people. And then that second part in caring, a leader isn't somebody who just starts a spark and then steps out. A leader is someone who stays within that community, who motivates from the inside, who entices people to look at themselves and say, I can be that kind of person too, and I can do something powerful like that, and then joins the movement. A leader is somebody who has to say thank you and sorry. A leader is somebody who has to define what is reality for their larger group, but also somebody who has to weight the pain and the struggle that comes very oftentimes with a movement for change. This definition has shaped my ability to collaborate with others because it has introduced that leadership is relationship. And so to stay listening, to stay kind, to look to the fringes and the margins for the people who may have been forgotten or without a voice or without recognition, to inspire those to be a leader themselves, because that is oftentimes where the greatest passion comes from. It's also reminded me to keep my hands in the problem solving process just as much as my head is a part of the planning process. And so, not to rely on just delegating, but to be in the midst of the group itself, and work for this change from the inside. This has changed the way that I engage with the gospel because Jesus has set the standard for the best leader because of his servanthood. As a leader, he declared love before judgment. He was more inclined to say, come here, than he was to say, do not. He was someone who engaged relationships with compassion and whose teachings come from that relationship with others in everyday life and in everyday settings, and going to them and being part of their world and their realities, and not just standing up at an altar or a podium and giving a lecture. That's defined for me that gospel is dirty sometimes, that it is uncomfortable, and that it is outside of what is clean and neat on Sundays, but also that it is where the streets are lively and where people are in pain. That's where the gospel goes to. My leadership and skills experience would be of use to the ELCA in the next 10 years, facing challenges. For one, my work with and time facilitating and mentoring with young adults in both college groups and camp settings in various leadership roles would be influential in this sense of a millennial dropout from church, in a sense, where we're losing young people from the communities of faith. I think that my millennial generation is very concerned with authenticity and with challenging and with this great increase of knowledge, and also with broader life experience. Wants to see how that plays into faith, and what does that mean, and how does this inform, and knowing that and being reaffirmed for them that these questions are building of faith and not of doubt, and that they can come to church with these things, and that the purpose of our community is to wade through these things, and that's a good thing. I think would benefit. I also think my experience in living abroad and in other cultures like Ghana and South Africa would aid the church as it seeks out how to be more global. As the world gets smaller and information makes the world feel even smaller, um, that knowing how to interact with other cultures and with other people and other forms of worship and expression, and how does church apply and matter to other settings and other groups of people in different world situations and conflict than we maybe ourselves are living in the ELCA, I think would also benefit the community of the church as a whole. So thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you.